Good evening, everyone. Glad that you guys could log in via web for our first virtual town hall meeting, part of our web series for 2019-2020. Thank you for working with us. I just wanted to make sure we had as many people on as possible. My name is Julius Hudson, and I am your National Professionals Chair. I am really excited about this opportunity to touch bases with all of you participating, and I hope that you get some good information out of this. Moving forward, just FYI, this whole town hall presentation really is for you guys to touch bases with myself as a representative of the PEB, but through the time frame, the first 25, 30 minutes will be just an overview of some information, and then after that, we'll open the floor for questions, Q&A. So as the presentation goes on, if you guys have some questions, please don't wait. Please key it in to the Zoom Q&A, and we'll make sure we get those questions answered at that part of the presentation. All right, so just to really give a quick overview of just the topics we'll discuss, I'll give some information about NSBE by the numbers. I will introduce you to the team, give you some information about professionals' vision, have some data on the status of the professionals, just kind of talk over our strategic plan, give you some information about the national charge, and like I said, get it right into the Q&A period. All right. I wanted to provide you with some good infographics that really just talk about NSBE from a numbers perspective. As you see, this is a little dated. We're actually working on a more current version for this quarter, but it's the most recent one as of May 30th, 2019. As you see, our overall membership is 24,166, and then this is the breakdown of that number. As you see, where professionals and the lifetime members are. Moving over just to kind of give you a snapshot of the 6 majors from a collegiate perspective, give you a percentage of that breakdown. And then also just providing you with just our gender breakdown, our male to female ratio, as you see below here, 33 and 58%. All right, now we get a chance to meet my team. First, this picture here is a representation of our 2019-2020 NSBE Professionals Executive Board, the PEB. These ladies and gentlemen are very skilled in a variety of things, but they are positioned on the board in a variety of roles and responsibilities that some of you may have been in contact with already. They are leading the zones that pretty much produce a lot of the NSBE content that we have. So I am privileged to work with this group of people. Personalities and their work ethic are on point. So this is not most of the PEB, but this is a representation of your professional executive board. This group of leaders here, which are led by Sarita Thomas, is our leaders for our special interest group, our SIG leaders, 2019 and 20. As you see here, aerospace, energy, entrepreneurship, and as we read down, these are all of our active SIGs for the 2019-20 year. This is a good majority of those leaders in those respective SIG groups. So special interest groups is really the cornerstone of the programming component for professionals. We try to really utilize the categories and the groups here to really provide programming and a staple for the professional brand. So here is a picture of those. And NSBE is in the United States NSBE is broken up into six regions, and they are led similar to the structure of the professional executive board, where they have a professionals chair. So I'll go through a couple slides here just to give you an image of our professional executive boards from a regional perspective. Right here we have Region 1, was led by Ms. Renee Robinson. And over to the right, we have Region 2, who was led by Brittany Herring. I'm sorry, Brittany. Next slide is Region 3 and 4. To the left, you have Region 3, who is led by Dr. Ronisha Worthy. And over here to the right, you have Region 4 Professional Executive Board, who is led by Ms. Ashley McCray. And lastly, here we have Region 5 and 6. So over to my left is the Region 5 executive representation of Region 5 Executive Board, which is led by Mr. Townsend Brown here. And over to the right, we have the Region 6 Professional Executive Board, which is led by Mr. Dimitri Wright, and here in the middle. So I did want to put some sort of face to the groups and to the names that you will be or have been working with or would be in contact with any questions and things of that sort. So have a fantastic board here, and we are willing and ready to serve. Excellent. The professional's vision for 2019 and 20. I wanted to, when developing this vision, wanted to make sure I was in line with the national directors from Chairwoman, Madam Chair, Jocelyn Jackson. She really emphasizes and has an acronym of FOCUS, which really lays out how she would like the society as a whole to be ran. And the professional goals or professional visions really tie very well into the national to the national vision. So I want to share that with you here. In developing our professional vision, I wanted to keep it really simple. I wanted to be identifiable and something that not only is thought out, but is really easy to replicate throughout the society for the professionals. And what I came up with was it's an acronym of CPR. And what you see here is the explanation of exactly what those letters and components stand for. So the C is really continuing the path. Past leadership, under the leadership of Anthony Murphy and Maurice Patterson previous years, they really got some good traction going on a variety of things for the society. So first and foremost, we wanted to keep those things going. So I wanted to continue to build on last year's success of increasing the membership interaction and our social media footprint. I wanted to continue to promote our financial awareness, which pertains to scholarships and fund development. Over the years, I'll have some more slides and data to show you the increase from the social media marketing perspective, but I wanted to continue those this year to really just build on that traction. Next going to it is the P, which is advancing the partnerships. It's kind of twofold. My first primary partner is the membership, you guys. I wanted to partner with our NSBE membership to really rebuild the trust in your elected boards, and also build that trust to increase just engagement. So with forums like this, conferences and seminars and additional webinars, I really want to increase that engagement. But I also wanted to use our MOUs, our memorandums of understanding, to increase partnerships and activities that can be profitable for both parties within those MOU agreements, because that can be a missed opportunity if not done correctly, to partner with like-minded groups or non-like-minded groups for that have the mission in common. And I wanted to continue to foster professional relationships with our BCA and non-BCA, which are Board of Corporate Affiliate Partners, to develop year-round programming and also financial partnerships. And last but not least, certainly not least, is the R, which is for repeatable processes. I wanted to develop and maintain repeatable processes that are internal to the NSBE professionals that can be shared throughout the society, whether it's regionally chapter-based. We always say no need to reinvent the wheel, but this is so true in successful processes that we really need to have this documented, vetted out, and shared amongst the society to repeat the successes and to not have to repeat some of the pitfalls. So this would allow us to measure our successes and challenges so that we can plan accordingly. All right, wanted to provide some data. What you're looking at here now is actually fresh off the presses. It's actually the end of the NSBE physical here. So this is dated actual data from July 31st. And what you see at the top, the orange and blue graph here, the blue represents 2019, the orange represents 2018. And this is really the membership by region. I share with you the regional chairs, but as you see, we're pretty much in par and exceeding our 2018 goals. This actually falls in play when I say continue the path. We had some good traction in getting our membership numbers increased. What you see down here at the bottom is our current membership at that time against the 30 for 30 goal. Last year, NSBE professionals celebrated 30 years in existence of the society. And as chair-elect last year, the membership zone wanted to tie in our membership goals to our 30 for 30 campaign. So the goal was to increase our membership by each region 30%. So that's what you see at the bottom is where we fared in that 30% goal. Didn't quite get it all across the board, but I am super excited about how close we were. And to also state, we actually had roughly about a 26 to 28% increase across domestic professionals over all 6 regions. That is actually the highest percentage in the 3 demographics, collegiate, NSBE Junior, as well as professional. So that my hats go off to the past regional chairs or chair emeritus for all of the regions and all of the boards and members that actually participated in that. So that is great. Great, great, great. All right, and this bar, these 2 graphs here really, they just want to represent the professional demographic itself. Where we fare this year at this time, July, we're pretty much identical when we look at the actual 2019 versus 2018. Same thing for the bottom. It actually is stacked against our 30 for 30 goal. So holistically, this is pretty much just the full number of the graphs previously shown on the other slide. So again, hats off to the team last year for really putting good effort in for that. And this slide here, I wanted to give just a little breakdown of the professional degree types. If you remember, the first infographic that I showed really talked about it from a collegiate perspective. I did want to utilize this slide to show from a graduation, from a earned degree perspective. This is really where we fall in the professional demographic. Very interesting to see and really to gauge maybe different hiring opportunities based on degree skill sets. So it's good to see that we even, we have our engineering, but law from a patent law perspective, even making the cut. And over to the right, this pie diagram here shows the work experience breakdown. It's also always good to kind of see where we're trending holistically from our demographics perspective, starting from 1 to 2 years, ending all the way to 16 plus. So the entry-level positions all the way to the more seasoned opportunities, seasoned professionals. This pie is almost pretty even across the board in different demographics, but you can kind of see where we actually use this data to kind of see how we provide our programming to our membership and making sure that we touch all grasp of that. So moving on to just the strategic plan for the professionals. One thing that I did notice last year as chair-elect and then coming back to the leadership on the professional board is that the utilization of having a strategic plan scale back in years. So basically having a direct year goal and then having like a 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 6 to 10, having those goals set so that we can build from year to year and have an established goal that incorporates, information from our membership, but also incorporates information from our leadership. So this year, the professional executive officers, along with the input provided from the board and the members, went through to develop a strategic plan for the upcoming year and years after. So I'll go through and kind of explain that. Goals that we want to complete by 2020. Have them here. Basically, we want to always increase our revenue on an annual basis so that we can have the funding needed to meet our budget quotas as well as exceed those so that we can properly fund our regions and our professionals. We want to increase our affiliate and non-affiliate. When I say that, I'm referring to our Board of Corporate Affiliates and our non-BCA demographics to support our programming and financially support for NSBE professionals. So we just don't want to look at those opportunities to partner just from a financial basis. We really would love to engage any of our partners to establish a relationship with them to kind of even use some of their in-kind skills from a training perspective, from a credit or CDUs and things of that sort. So really want to develop that full partnership. Thirdly, here we have our chapter health initiative for professionals. A lot of you know that as CHIP. It really is a database or a grading system for chapters to really promote just the active health of the chapter and kind of support those larger chapters with some of the smaller chapters. But really, we wanted to update this whole program based on the feedback on the lessons learned of last year. We had some great participation over the last couple of years, and we do want to improve on that for this year. Have training on regional boards outside of our designated training, I guess you would say workshops, or which would be National Leadership Conference and a regional transitional meeting. So we're working on that as well. So we're looking at just different webinar features and maybe other opportunities to have face-to-face training. We absolutely want to increase our face-to-face chapter engagement. We know that we need to really ensure that the chapters know that we support them from a leadership perspective, and we hear them and their needs. And lastly, just improve our website. It's kind of, we want to provide input and very good solutions for an improved website. It's really a society thing, not just from a professional strategic plan, but it's really a society thing that we know our website needs a little assistance. And actually, we are working on that as currently the society is. So we want to really have a website that allows membership renewal processes, the ease of renewal processes, making it a lot simpler than it is, and then actually have functional content links and accessibility to different features of the website that are really user-friendly. So from a 2020 perspective, this is what we want to really engage in and have completed. But with that, we go to our 3 to 5. We know that there will be some overlap. Our 1 to 3. So there will be some overlap with some of these things possibly being addressed in 2020. But, having that seamless process with the change in how we elect our executive boards from a PEB, with having 2-year commitments now across the board, it's really good to have the synergy of our strategic processes to span with a little bit of overlap. But the first one really is to establish year-round professional programming for our membership. Just really have a outline, an expectation of what that programming should be, and really have NSBE professionals looked at as an asset for professional programming. We really want to define our special interest group focuses and programming cadence. As I shared before, we have 11 special interest groups with 11 skill sets. So that's a great opportunity there that we can really expand from a professional perspective. We also want to pay attention to our 0 to 5, our young technical professionals. So we want to provide programming that is geared for their succession planning as they matriculate onto the workforce. We want to establish a measure and increase the conveyance of collegiate students to professional members. What that really is we really want to be able to not only increase collegiate to professional, but be able to track that and actually be a support to the new professional, whether it be in a new location, just a new experience of joining the workforce. So we really want to be an asset there and increase that membership, which will ultimately increase our overall membership. From a national and regional board perspective, we want to really reconstruct our boards to align with current nonprofit norms. Really want to take some investigation and then just see if the way we're setting up and the goals that we have for the next 5 years and on, are we supporting those goals with the right infrastructure? So really evaluating that. We want to increase the membership dues to support the growth and membership value and program. So by this time, there will be, with the success of all of the things that were stated, even up until now, there will be a need for a dues increase. So really trying to figure out what that is, how that is going to be sustainable, and then where, from a programming perspective, those additional funds will be applied to. We want to grow our relationships with our non-BCA partners. And just to give a little perspective, our Board of Corporate Affiliate partners really are partners that have contributed and agreed to the partnership of like $40,000 commitment. Our non-BCA partners is our second tier, and they've agreed to partner at a $26,000 commitment. But we really want to look to making them like preferred professional partners and really increase that number of companies, because it just opens up different opportunities. And even with this professional development conference, just reaching out to new partners really opens up the brand of the professional. So we want to do that. And then lastly, we really want to increase our professional development conference, PDC, by 15% in attendance, 15% in partnership, and 15% in revenue annually for the next 3 years. We're coming up on our 8th annual conference, and we'll be celebrating our 10 here soon. So having that measure will at least be able to gauge our success in our increase in partnership revenue and also attendance. All right, from 3 to 5, we really want to establish a regular leadership development opportunity provided by partnering companies. So as I stated, developing that relationship with non-BCA companies, this is part of that relationship. It's not always the upfront commitment. So we really want to use proven professionals to provide us, whether it be with companies or whether it be with institutions. We really want to have some NSBE professional-based opportunities that really improve our value add to our professional membership. We want to grow our professional scholarship endowment to $1 million. If you don't know, right now, our professionals treasurer and team is working on establishing our scholarship endowment for professionals and collegiate. So once this is established at the amount that we really are comfortable with, yes, in 3 to 5 years, this is something that is attainable with continued commitment. So want to have that in place. We would like to have a gross of $250K at our professional development conference. This is really a growing conference, and with what we have in store for this upcoming conferences and the conferences to follow, I really am strongly in support and believe we can do that. Nationally, to be able to financially support NSBE professional chapter initiatives. Right now, we support regional opportunities that then the regionals support different chapter initiatives and opportunities. With the increase in revenue, with the increase in visibility, we really want to be able, from a national perspective, to really identify and hone in on chapter activities and initiatives and really have a committed financial support accessible to them on a regular basis. So last year, we want to host 800. We want to have an 800 attendee conference at our professional PDC. And then we also want to, look into actually having some type of summit that has Black CEOs involved in it, which will expose us to our seasoned demographics and allow the professionals access to members of the C-suite. So, I touched on things that we would get the younger demographics, and as we move on in AAA, we really want to hone in on getting a nice hodgepodge of seasoned vets. So this is the strategic process and plan for 1 to 5. All right, we're almost complete, guys. I really wanted to share this information because it's really common in leadership that we do know about these initiatives or these charges nationally, but it may not be as common from a membership perspective. But I know since the decline of like African Americans in STEM 2003 to 2013, there was a huge need in the U.S. to really establish more Black engineers and to continue their studies in STEM. So what NSBE embarked on in 2015 is the 10K by 2025 initiative. And basically, we want to graduate 10,000 Black engineers annually by the year 2025. After this slide, I have some additional slides to kind of show you where we started at with this initiative and then where we are currently. But this is really how we are gauging a lot of our partnerships from a financial perspective, from a programming perspective, and really trying to make sure that what NSBE is doing from our program is really supporting this, is really providing that programming needed to actually hit that number by 2025. Again, just hold on and I'll show you some data on that. But I did also want to tie in this 50K coalition. And these links will be active too, so you can actually go and get more information about that. But the 50K coalition is a collaboration of about 40 organizations similar to NSBE, focused on just the national goal to have 50 diverse engineering graduates annually by 2025. The irony in this one is that this coalition was formed by the American Indian Society, the National Society of Black Engineers, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and also the Society of Women Engineers. So these groups are really running point out of the 40 to kind of establish, and you can see how the 10K by 2025 really folds right into this 50K coalition. I know for a fact when it was started, it was funded by a grant, and I also know that this group is now in talks to try to get a continuation of the grant or either a new grant from a funding perspective. But I do want to, please go to these sites to get more in-depth information about both of these charges. But I felt it's our duty to inform you all that these are out here, and this is where we're going forward with. So, like I said, this slide really supports that 10K by 2025. In 2015, we had 3,500 Black engineers that graduated annually. So this is why, looking towards 2025, we wanted to get that number to 10,000. As we fare to date, this is 2018. They have not really gathered all the data to close out 2019 because we're still in that year. But the increase in 3 years has been 30%. That is, any increase I think is excellent. So that is hats off. And this is not, we can gear this to, it's not all associated to just NSBE's participation, but we do want to do our part to influence this number. And this is why also I stated earlier that we really got to evaluate kind of our programming and the things that we do in the society to see if it is even supporting this goal for our future leadership. But this is the data that I have to date. So we have a 30% increase as of 18, and we have about 7 more years to go. So in that charge and in that effort, the national board, under the direction of Jocelyn Jackson and Dr. Carl Reed, they have led the charge to develop a strategic planning task force this year. That our goal is to really, again, develop to develop a 3-year plan, strategic plan, which really defines the goals and the expectations from the chapters and really involves them in communicating that plan. But then also really to have matrix and data and evaluations and processes that support the plans and the chapters and really promote that data and have promotional campaigns to inform the membership of the status of the strategic plan and how it relates to our increase in the yearly graduates. So the team consists of national executive board members, professional executive board members, myself, along with a few of the people that I named earlier are part of this team. WHQ staff, industry professionals. We have Kevin Edwards, who's part of Bechtel, who's part of this committee, and then also educators or teachers with experience in that 5 to 12 and that higher education sector. We have, a member now, but we plan to include possibly some additional educators to actually provide that perspective and insight. So this team is hard at work and really going through the growing stages right now, trying to finalize a few things and move forward with some initiatives. But we are being proactive in that. So you have listened to me for a little bit over 30 minutes. And now I want to turn the opportunity over to you guys. I wanted you to have the opportunity to, if you had questions about any information that has been shared or any information prior to, give this the opportunity to do so. But before I go to the Q&A board, I'll give you guys a little opportunity to kind of type your questions in. We did have a couple questions come in before the meeting. So I will kind of go through those. Okay. So from Region 2, the Charlotte professionals wanted to have a question. How does the NSBE professional plan to support the NSBE pipeline over the next 5 years? I guess this question came really before laying out the plan, but I think in our strategic plan, as I laid out here, at least hitting the demographics from our young professionals, really focusing on providing them with some sustainable activities and membership value added. And then also really converting over our collegiate members who matriculate to the professional side. That helps us, in my perspective, from a membership component, and which allows, different activities and things of that sort to lead to training and just growth as a professional member. So we have a plan for that demographic. If this question is now going towards the younger demographic, the NSBE Junior pipeline, really engaging in this 10K for 2025. In establishing the strategic goals for this plan, the strategic plot process, we're going to identify areas in that NSBE Junior space that need support, and how we provide that support will be established, I think, through that committee. But it also is established through understanding what our professional chapters are doing. I know Charlotte. I know a lot of chapters that are very, very impactful in that NSBE Junior realm. That we need to share those experiences, to share those opportunities, so that we can reproduce that effort in other regions. So I look at it as a partnershiping opportunity from our professional membership, but I also look at it as, from a planning perspective, trusting that the NSBE professional boards that are elected are actually striving to have some processes in place to help the pipeline and to increase that And what we got here? Okay, Region 2 again, DC chapter. Where does the PEB see the roles of entrepreneurship, intellectual property protection, and business development for its members and for NSBE graduates? This is also, this was also provided before the presentation was given, but if you remember in my 1 to 3, I really wanted to increase the engagements from our SIGs. Even now in year 1, we are having conversations on while we are having, not even conversations, while we are developing processes and developing systems within the SIG so that they can be productive, we are actually being contacted and being asked for different partnerships or different opportunities, actually in those same realms that this question came from an entrepreneur's perspective and from a IP, intellectual property perspective. Several universities have reached out to us to kind of develop some programming together with NSBE and our SIGs. From an entrepreneurial space, we've been invited to different areas to have that dialogue with people outside of NSBE to see how we can utilize our entrepreneurial component of NSBE to partner with other firms or other companies or other societies. So we see the need, even within our professional development conferences. We are now having separate tracks, each conference with 1 to 3 special interest groups to really gather support with other companies and to actually have workshops and features at our professional development conference under the SIG umbrella. So that's where I see our PEB role is to really continue the exposure and then provide opportunities to our membership. Realistically, can we activate all 11 at the same time? That is our audacious goal, but we want to do it right. So, in our 3-year and our 5-year plan, it's about, taking the right steps to strategically activate all, because we want to set everybody up for success. So hopefully all those answers, hopefully I've answered those 2 questions sufficiently. And if not, it's still opportunities to ask additional. So now it's time to go to the Q&A. Let me see if I can open this up. All right, first question. Have you prioritized the organizations that will be starting or strengthening partnerships? We have not prioritized the organizations. We are not there yet. Right now, we are identifying the organizations. This kind of falls under this MOU process. So we are now trying to actually clean up some of the, first of all, getting an understanding of where our status is with some of the MOU, all the MOUs that we have. And then after that, really cleaning them up, whether that means reaching back out to old MOU partners that may have expired, talking to current MOUs that may not be as active. And actually, once we get that complete and a good understanding there, then reaching out to new MOUs. The funny thing is that doesn't stop companies and organizations from reaching directly out to us. So while we are cleaning up, we are actually still being contacted by other organizations. So we're kind of going to have to do a unilateral approach because we don't want the fire to fall. So we are not at the priority stage, but we will be either at that stage before the end of the year or by the end of the year have them prioritized to move forward with our partnerships. The next question was, how much do you think the dues will increase? I have no idea. Because we have not had that discussion. I mean, I have an idea from what I personally feel it should be, but it's not anything that we have, as a professional executive board, have actually come to a conclusion and actually provided supporting data on why there should be a dues increase. I mean, if you just look at rate of inflation, it's been $50 ever since I've been a professional member, and I've been double digit over here. So, you know, from an inflation perspective, saying $50 is not the same value as it was in 2003. So on the strength of that alone, there should be some sizable increase. But the goal is not to have increase after increase after increase. We really want the membership to be comfortable and understand that, you know, whatever that increase is, it's attached to something. It's just not overall, and we just feel like we can go up. But the membership, we really have to kind of have a good case and show the membership that, you know, honestly, our membership is growing. So even on the strength of growth, I just said we had a 28 increase in membership. So yes, that's a increase in revenue from a $50 perspective, but the wants and the needs have increased. We got 11 special interest groups now that we want to run and have fully active. So once we're able to provide those resources and things of that sort, I think we can better put a game plan together on what that increase should look like. And that's why it's in the I think it was in the 1 to 3 year plan, to give us some time to really get that number and reasoning behind. So that's what I think there. What are the professionals' membership goals for 1920? Are they the same as the 30 for 30? And how can the membership help support continued growth across all regions in partnership with the board? This was recent. I actually shared the 1920 goals overall. The membership goals themselves, Commander Majid, who is our chair-elect, is actually working with the membership zone currently. And that membership zone consists of the membership chairs of all 6 regions, our actual national membership chair, and Camila. So they are actually in conversation now and developing what those goals should be. We are right now 14 days into the new NSBE year. So we still have some time in that, and want to make sure I give this group and that group time to actually have those goals set so that it's achievable and it's something to reach for. So how the membership can support continued growth. Really, it's the membership just honestly being active within their chapters. That growth, and this is my personal opinion, but I have some data to back it. But if that growth is happening in the respective chapters, if we are able to increase our conversion of collegiate members to professional, but even past that, if we're able to reach outside of our NSBE norm and really attract some of our ERGs and things like that, where we can improve the actual participation, that goes a long way into our younger leaders seeing older professionals, and then in years to come, continuing the NSBE trend. Just our younger professionals continuing on the NSBE professional trend. So it really has weight across the board. So if I had to pick one thing, I mean, it's a couple of things, but I have to pick one thing, I really think is activity on a chapter level, just really increasing that. All right, going on to the next question. It says biomedical engineering representing 2.5 of the total NSBE membership. How has this changed over time, and how has the MOU with Biomedical Society impacted NSBE and its membership? I think I will answer this in reverse. I would have to get in more information again about the MOU per se, because that falls in line with what I was stating earlier as far as getting an understanding of what MOUs are current, what has expired and what is active. But I think from just partnering with BMES, I mean, it can do nothing but excel the membership in that space. Because if we are really utilizing that in our special interest group and really partnering with the society, I think both memberships should benefit from each other and each other's mission. I don't know if it is or if it isn't. I really have to try to first find some data that supports that. But even if I had that or didn't, really have to establish the groundwork for it to be successful. So this may be an MOU that we need to revisit and really put some more content to it. Maybe some shared memberships or whatever the case may be, whatever it is. But partnership is key, and that can do nothing but increase. Now, from a change over time, I would have to go back to my team to see if we can even get those values of, it's 2.5 now. What was it last year? Or what was it the year before? Because I don't know if it's gone up or gone down. I'm assuming with the question, it possibly is going up. So I can get back to you on that question once I have the data in front of me. Going to the next question. What is your vision or idea on increasing social media for NSBE? Is there a way to encourage chapters to have Facebook, Instagram pages to share events, features, and et cetera? Excellent question. I know our current secretary, at least from my perspective, has always kind of heard me saying we need to increase, our social media presence. And this is one thing I haven't complimented him on throughout the work that he has done with his team over the last 2 years or year and some change, is that presence has increased from even what I saw when I was, I say a regular member, not on the executive boards of anything. Our Facebook, Instagram, we have those. Our LinkedIn, at least from a national perspective, has all grown. And we might look down the line to actually have a session where we can share those percentages and also share some of the same practices that we're using here. My vision, again, is repeatable processes. I don't want to really jump out and say suggest what people could be doing if we haven't tried it on ourselves. So by Maurice, who's our secretary and team, gaining successes and, a few shortcomings on a couple of things, but really gaining successes, they can now speak from a point of knowledge. And then the plan is to really share that with the regions, with the chapters, maybe even in web series or even at our national meetups. So there is a plan. You should be getting that support and that encouragement that is needed from a chapter base from a national level. And it should happen within this first year. So it's really, like I said, building that trust and keeping that engagement going. All right. We got a couple more here. What specific strategy are you planning to pursue to target collegiate membership to bridge them to professional membership? couple things that offhand I know we need to do, but by no means is that the all end all. The one thing that I see that we have not taken advantage of is really using our, and we call them counterparts, but our national executive boards to really assist us in reaching out to the membership. It's all a visibility thing, first and foremost. And it's a lot easier if we had kind of like that handoff, that handoff of support. So really engaging our national leaders to help them understand what the meaning is of a professional member, and knowing that, to be honest, you're going to be a professional member longer than you would be a collegiate member. And there are a lot of assets from a professional's perspective that we can add to, grow your career, provide assistance, just giving you that platform. So whatever our messaging is on the benefits of professional membership, really engaging our national leadership to support that as well, to give us that buy-in as we communicate to our collegiate counterparts. How we've been doing it now is we've been trying to go directly to them. And we've had some successes, but it's nowhere where it needs to be when you look at the numbers of how many we have graduating versus how many we have coming into professionals. It's a couple of different other strategies, but it has to be multiple things going on, and not just really coming from me. I know we have a professional at our PDC. We have our board meetings, our PEB meetings, and I plan to engage the thoughts of all my professional executive boards on this question. Membership will be a hot topic that we talk about and kind of develop a plan, because as you see in the outline, that is one of my specific strategies. So to have it up on there and to have a solution right now to all of them, I don't have them all. I just know what I think will work. And I have to kind of see where my board can support that and provide additional content. But this is a great question, and I think it'll be honest. It'll be good to kind of ask this question at the end of the term and see where we are. Hopefully I answered that one. Next question. I am sorry I joined late, but I'd like to know how we all professionally can talk face to face, like convention. We do not all with companies. I'm sorry. Okay, I think this question is asking how can we connect more face to face as professionals. During our conventions, we try to have, town hall meetings similar to this, or different workshops that will allow conversations like this to happen face to face. I know at PDC, since it's next week, we wanted to spend this time to have the town hall now from a webinar perspective. So you won't see the town hall at this professional development conference, but I know at our national conferences and in PDCs in the past, we try to have platforms like this. Also, I know our regional leadership tries to engage professionals at the fall regional conferences that is really put on by the collegiate boards. So those are other opportunities to have face-to-face contact with our regional leaderships. So depending on what region you are, I would encourage you to get in contact with the regional boards. And then within the regions, it consists of different members on different chapter boards. So you may have some strong chapters in your area. So it doesn't have to be just, from this area. I would encourage it from the chapter level, regional level, and also on the national level as well. And then we would try to continue, or we will be continuing, because I said this was a webinar series. We will be continuing to add services similar to this that hopefully we can. It's not face to face, but it is contact that we can exchange. So hopefully that was the question, and that was a good enough answer. All right. How do you plan to establish or ensure that the culture around the PEB makes applying for the PEB more appealing to young professionals, especially those coming from regional and national leaderships? That's a great question. It's really, first and foremost, it's really with each professional board to really empower the board to feel as if they matter. To really empower the board to feel that if their decisions matter, or that we trust them in the decisions that they are making on behalf of the society, just as you all trusted them in the vote. Really changing how professional board members feel about being a part of the board. With any leadership position, sometimes it can be overwhelming at first. There can be a sweet spot, and then when you're hot and heavy, it can be kind of frustrating. But it's on the seasoned leadership to really help guide the new leaders in this process, and it's really just having that line of communication open. It's not a hard science. It's really just actually doing it once you're in it. Now, to make it attractive outside of that, we just have to be visible, and you have to see us in the lights. I can say it's roses, but you have to see it. You have to believe it, and it goes back to, again, instilling that trust in the membership. It's not just from what you're assigning us to do, but none of us are going to be in this position 5-10 years later. So it is an onus on us to make it so that we do have succession. So it's really, we are discussing succession planning. That's all a part of it. We are trying to actually get an understanding on what the membership wants to see. That's why we have these functions. And we want to re-engage our young technical professionals, and that be a component, of support to make that attractive. So it's a unilateral approach. It's no one answer, but I do plan to work with the programs team to make sure that we do have a presence in our young technical professionals. So that will support that initiative. And like I said earlier, this board is fantastic. I think if you haven't seen, this will be a great opportunity to kind of see the love and the dedication, from this group. And it's infectious to me. So it's a holistic approach, and it has to happen over years and over boards, not just professional boards. So that's my stake in it, and I do have some other ideas, but that's pretty much where I come from with that question. So that was a great question. All right. How are we on time? We still good? Yeah. NSBE concentrates on all STEM programs other than environmental engineering and mining engineering. Being a new professional who studied environmental engineering, what benefits can I get because my colleagues and I never benefit being collegiate? I will use this from the perspective of myself, even though it has grown. I am a civil engineer degree and a civil engineer by profession, and kind of shared your same sentiments as a collegiate member, and really not really seeing a presence of civil within NSBE, as I matriculated through college. From a professional perspective, I think it has grown, and we have the data, and then also the field itself has grown since I was last in college. And our partnerships have grown. I mean, we're now talking to renew a partnership with the American Society of Civil Engineering to help with that growth from their mission and our mission. So I would say we probably have to, one, kind of do some of those same processes with environmental engineering and mining. Develop some of those cohort partnerships with some additional societies that might be directly involved in that environmental space. Our special interest group, again, is environmental. We have an environmental special interest group, which focuses on that component. I don't know if it's in mining per se, but it may. But even if it's not, that's an opportunity there to have growth within that SIG. So to answer the question, if it's not a high presence like some of the other disciplines or other degrees, it's really, we do have a presence. So it's really attaching ourselves to what we do have and really providing insight on what we should attack next. You know, if the industry is moving differently in the mining area, I'm familiar a little bit with the environmental area and know that it's growing, knowing that there's plenty of opportunity in that space. But maybe we do need to partner with another society that strictly deals in that environmental space. So we do have the track available with our environmental SIG. We just have to really activate it and get involved in that. And I'm pretty sure they can provide more information specifically on environmental than I can as well. All right. Going on to another question here. And will there be a report out to the membership of the membership survey results? Key takeaways. How do you plan to incorporate, if not already, those results? Thank you for that question. There was a membership survey, if you are not aware, there was a membership survey steered by our membership chair a couple months ago that went out. And it was actually some great data and great takeaways from that survey. We do plan to have a readout of the takeaways from that report. Ironically, the society as a whole was using one of our partners to also do a survey over the society on some different aspects, but some similar questions as well, that we want to get that data as well and provide readouts. But from an internal task, while we're developing how we're going to report out to the membership and what platform and where that would be, from a leadership perspective, we've been I've tasked our board to really look at the data and see where the data lies into what their 30, 60, 90 or their overall holistic plan is for 1920, and to incorporate areas where the survey has provided those information, to identify areas where we are already working towards from the survey, and even identify areas that are a stretch. So short answer is yes and yes. But I did want to explain to those who weren't aware of the survey what I would be referring to. So just look, be active. We'll most definitely use all of our platforms to put out that information at a later date. Ooh, all right. That was the last question. That was pretty awesome. I do appreciate your attendance. For those on the East Coast, we're getting off here a little bit early, so you guys can lay it down. Those on the West Coast, you guys can eat dinner. But I did want to go to one more slide. As I stated a couple of times, this town hall is one of many. We want to have we will have a regular cadence from this type of platform to allow us to reach our membership monthly. So here we have we would have every second Wednesday, we would have some form of webinar. So upcoming, our next one will be really our reporting out CHIP and membership updates. This will be hosted by our membership chair, Eric Bryant. So this will be a very, very, very important one for all chapter leaders, for everybody as a whole, but really for all chapter leaders, chairs, presidents, and things like that, just to get understanding on any updates to the CHIP program, or also allowing you the platform to ask your questions in a Q&A perspective. And then as you can see, as we go on for each month, we plan on having additional webinars. So that's what's on the horizon. I hope you guys see the change that we're trying to provide from a perspective of professionals. We like I said, we continue as a whole to be excited about leading this group, and don't let the questions stop here. Get on our LinkedIn, get on our Facebook, Instagram. I mean, we're all accessible. If you need to email, we're all accessible there too. So please don't stop this conversation. I know this recording will be available at sometime here soon, so you'll have communications about that. And to all that will be joining us in San Diego for our Professional Development Conference next week, I will be excited to meet and greet you. There's still time for those who have not, if you want to catch a quick flight out, but we'd love to have you. And with that, I will say good night. Thank you all.